Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. So, before we jump into today's episode, I want to apologize. I know I've been MIA for I don't even know how long. It's been far too long since I've recorded anything. Life's been a little crazy. I went to Fleet Week. We've had underways, and then we had a death in the family, and then currently I'm in a C school right now, and it just seems like it's one thing after another, and that's no excuse. The whole point of this podcast was to be here for you guys that are out there listening. So I just want to apologize and say I'm doing my best to get back on that. I'm currently in the process of trying to figure out how I'm going to record while we're underway, so that way at least I can record something underway and then put it out when I get back into port. Anyways, so today, like I said, we're talking about, I didn't say, but today we're going to be talking about hurricane preparedness. So stay with us and we'll jump into it. Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. So, like I said, today is hurricane preparedness. With hurricane preparedness, there's so many things that you can get into, but it's really important, especially for those of us that are in, especially the Navy, because where are all of our bases? Well, we're right around the water. So this is something that we, should really be keeping in mind and taking serious. For me, this is important because I'm a prepper, and yeah, I know some of you may laugh and giggle and may think it's funny, but I'm not like those crazy people you used to see on what was the name of that show, Extreme Prepping or whatever. I just want to be prepared in case power goes out, or in case there's a hurricane, or any kind of natural disaster, right? So, anyways, with hurricane preparedness, with Dorian right around the corner here, I know he's slowed down a lot, but still, I mean, the Bahamas are devastated, right? And if that does move up our way, we need to be prepared, and move on, handle it accordingly. What I would recommend is, listen to local authorities or whatever is going on in your area. Especially if your command's telling you evacuate, then you need to evacuate. If the local authorities are saying evacuate, you need to evacuate. Granted, it's your life. I can't force you to do anything, but these are things to keep in mind. So if you're evacuating, let's say you're on a ship, you need to make sure that your family is prepared. You need to have them set up. You need to make sure that whatever plan you have in place, you know what's going to happen and what they're going to do, and make sure that they actually enact that plan. If you're not on a ship and you're evacuating with your family, or if you're just outside the area, but you're going to get storm possibilities and you're not evacuating, you need to make sure that you have a plan and you have it in place. So things to keep in mind for your hurricane checklist. Yes, everyone should have a hurricane checklist, especially here on the coast or in the Gulf. So you need to be prepared with a minimum of 4 to 5 days worth of water, food, extra clothes, or anything like that. 4 to 5 days, and that's bare minimum. I would honestly have more than that, because you just never know. If it gets really bad, it could definitely go more than 4 or 5 days. But for a starting point, 4 to 5 days is a great place to have. The first thing that I have on my list here, and these are in no particular order. Some of them I might say this needs to happen first, or this could be later, whatever. But these, I've just kind of wrote these down, and we'll talk about it as we go. Documents. All of your important documents, be it your insurance, your deed for your house, birth certificates for you and your kids, social security cards, any vehicle insurance, vehicle registration, any of that stuff, right? That's all you need to have, all of that. So what me and my wife have done is in our front closet we have a case, and in that case is where we put together all of our important documents, and we've got it sorted out and things placed around, and so that way if this day does come, we can just grab that box, throw it in the vehicle with the animals, and we're gone. What I haven't done yet, and I'm in the process of doing, and what I recommend each one of you do as well, is take those documents, scan them into your computer, put them into whatever you use. If you use Google Drive, or you use Outlook, whatever the Outlook equivalent is, or you use Dropbox or whatever, I would upload a copy of those to those places. I would also take a copy and put it onto some type of flash drive, some external hard drive, email them to family, so that way they're always accessible in case you, for whatever, lose your documents or they get damaged, or you can't get on your phone, you can't get to this information. There's a way that you have access to it. You want to be redundant. You want to have backups. The next thing, you want to make sure that your tanks in your vehicle, whether it be truck, car, motorcycle, whatever you're driving. I don't recommend a motorcycle, but if that's what you're driving, make sure your tanks are full, especially with the days leading up to the hurricane hitting. You need to make sure that those remain full as much as possible. That's going to be one of the first things. Is everybody's going to be rushing to the store. Oh, I got to get out of here. I got to get gas. Preemptively have your stuff ready to go. Have your gas full. Cell phone. You want to make sure it's charged at all times, right? That's just daily part of life. We all carry a cell phone around. We're all constantly on our cell phone, playing on Facebook or Instagram or playing a game, whatever, right? But we need to be able to communicate, and especially when it comes to, Navy life, your chain of command needs to be able to communicate with you and tell you what you need to do and where you need to go. With that, you also want your family to have their charge, before and after. If anything does occur, we need to be able to stay in touch with each other. And also, you're going to want to notify your extended family that's not in the area so that you can let them know, hey, I'm safe. With your cell phone being charged, have backup batteries, because regardless of if you're evacuating or if you're staying in place, if the power goes out, you need to have a way to keep that cell phone charged. So have some backup batteries. And there's plenty of cheap options out there. There's more expensive options that are better. There's even, large, almost generator type backups that you can buy that'll last you for days at a time. So I'd recommend doing that. And then, if that does occur, put your phone into power savings mode so you can reserve that battery for when you really need it. Also, have a list of emergency contacts. This should be part of kind of your documents as well. A list of emergency contacts that you can put in there just in case your phone does die. That way you don't have to worry about, oh, my phone died. I don't know Greg, Marcy, Cindy, Jan, Bobby. I don't know their number. How am I supposed to get in contact with them? Well, now you have a list that you've prepared ahead of time. If you are staying in place, fill your tubs up with water. You need at minimum 1 gallon per person per day. So keeping that in mind, that's for cooking, cleaning, going to the bathroom. If you have animals, that's even more water. These are all things that you need to keep in mind. So fill your tub up. You can even only use that water just to flush your commodes, right? But if power's out, water's out, everything's out, you have to have access to this. So I would fill up your tub, fill up any containers that you have, fill them up with water. It's also recommended that you freeze some water. So if you have a gallon jug, fill it up, freeze it. If the power goes out, it's not going to completely keep everything in your freezer frozen, right? But it will help to prevent anything you have in there from going bad. You can also, if you have several of those frozen, you can put 1 or 2 in the fridge and keep some in the freezer as well. This is going to help you maintain that nice cold temperature that needs to be in the fridge. Now, if something goes bad, it goes bad, right? That's not our priority. But these are just things to keep in mind. So freezing water, having a gallon per person per day. Along with that, you want to have some type of non-perishable food. So even though we're freezing water to put in our refrigerator, if for whatever reason that doesn't work, doesn't keep it frozen, then, what are we going to do? Well, we need to have non-perishables. So things like peanut butter, jelly, bread, dry cereal, granola bars, beef jerky. Beef jerky is really great. They give you some of that protein that you need. Also, the peanut butter, you get a little bit of protein. canned food, any kind of canned food. With that said, you need to have, if you're getting canned food that needs to be cooked, or you're getting pasta, or anything, rice, anything like that that has to be cooked, then you need to have a way to cook it. So whether it be a grill, charcoal or propane, one of those little portable camp stoves, if you're just building a fire and cooking outside, whatever the case may be, you need to have a way to do that. And so keep that in mind. If you need to go buy some propane, you need to go buy some charcoal, whatever you have to do, make sure you're prepared for that. And you don't just have all this food sitting around going, well, shit, how am I supposed to eat it? Something that people don't keep in mind for hygiene: toilet paper. You want to be stocked up on toilet paper. Now with toilet paper, you can also get baby wipes. If for whatever reason water does stop working and power goes out, all that good stuff, baby wipes. Baby wipes will help keep you clean in the midterm. And then, not only can baby wipes be used for if you go to the bathroom, but it can also be clean just to use to wipe down your body. But toilet paper is definitely a must. And that that surprisingly gets left out a lot. With that, trash bags. You're going to need trash bags. So if it comes through and it devastates your area and you're there, you need a way to clean that up. But you also, if just the power goes out and now you're making all this canned food, you're using these baby wipes, all this trash you're making, what are you going to do with it? We need to have a place to put it. So make sure you have plenty of trash bags on hand. Something I forgot to mention with food products, have paper plates. Make sure that you have paper plates. That way you're not worried about washing dishes. You're not using up your valuable water resource on a dirty plate. You just take a paper plate, throw it away. Or burn it, help keep you warm. I mean, granted, it's still pretty warm outside right now, but you never know. So ways to cook. Pet food. If you have pets, don't forget about your pets. Make sure you include all of their documents in your document case. Make sure you have food for them. Make sure they have their collars. You have leashes. You have, whether it be wet, dry food. You have, what do they call them? Booties, I think. You can put them on their paws or boots. If you're going to be out and walking around in some type of, if there's debris and all that stuff, way to protect your animals. Our pets are families too, are part of our family too. And a lot of people forget that. And I don't know what it is about the military, but people get an animal and they're like, oh yeah, well, forget about it. You can't be doing that. If you're going to take these animals in, you've got to be prepared for them. So along with having all of our family prepared, if the power does go out, we need to make sure that we have any type of tools, be it, flashlights, wrenches, pry bars, a chainsaw in case, a tree drops down in front of us. Basically any and all tools that you can think of, because you never know. Your power, maybe there's a power line that goes down, or maybe something's wrong with your house and you have to shut off your power. These are all things to keep in mind, and you want to be prepared for that. You want to have the right tool for the job. You don't want to be trying to makeshift something and hurt yourself in the process. So make sure that you have all that ahead of time. Flashlights, candles, lanterns, these are all great. Not only do they boost morale by giving you some light and being able to see, they're going to give you the ability, to protect, I don't want to say protect yourself, but deter any, if say their looters come by or anything like that. Having a flashlight and having something there is going to deter people away from you. If the power does go out, candles and lanterns, it's a good way to, you can use those in a makeshift way to keep you warm. Flashlights, if your batteries die, you need to make sure you have backups. These batteries can go for anything. They can go for your, if you have some type of entertainment for your kids, they can go in your flashlight. They can go in, just a multitude of things that you always need batteries. Oh, another thing that your batters can go into is a weather radio. You want to have some type of radio where you can listen, you can hear what's going on in the area. You you never know what they're going to put out. They could have said, 5 minutes ago, they said, "Yep, it's good, you can stay," and then all of a sudden, Dorian takes a turn, and they're like, "No, you need to go now. Get out of the area." Right? Having a weather radio, knowing when it's coming or when it's past and it's over with, is always good to have. Have an extra set of clothes. So when you pack your clothes, you want to make sure that you have minimum. You want to have a few extra pairs of socks and underwear. Those things are things you're definitely going to want to have. A pair of jeans can last you several days. A t-shirt, while you may not want it to, can last several days. Right? You should always make sure you have short and long sleeve. Pants are good year round. It's better if you have some of the, maybe you want to zip them off, or you want to pack shorts and pants. That's great, right? You be prepared for both warm and cold. With that, you want to make sure you have something to keep you dry. So some type of really good raincoat, some good boots in case there are debris and you're walking around. You don't want to be, worried about slipping and falling or anything like that. Make sure you have all that set up and set aside, whether you keep it in your vehicle or you keep it in a specific spot in your house, whatever. Entertainment. You want to make sure you have some type of entertainment for you and your kids. That can be as simple as just a deck of cards. The power's out, there's nothing going on, everybody's kind of freaking out because of the storm. Pulling out a deck of cards and playing a game can do wonders for your morale. If you have books, board games, any type of board game, that will keep your mind off of what's going on at the time, and it'll keep you busy, and it'll boost your morale and help you get through it. If you only have a deck of cards, look up some card games beforehand, print off some instructions, or save some instructions on your phone. Anything like that is just going to help a lot. And then cash. When it comes to storms or any kind of natural disaster that's going on, and the grid goes down, ATMs, card readers, all of that stuff, it's going to go down. You're not going to be able to buy anything, so you need to have cash. Cash is king in all circumstances. So make sure you pull out. And I don't know your financial status. I know mine, and that's it, right? So I can't tell you how much to pull out. I would recommend having quite a bit on hand because you never know what you might need. So take some time to think about it, talk to your spouse, or just work it out in your head and pull some cash out and set that to a side. You can put it with your important docs. You can keep it on your person, whatever makes you the most comfortable. But you definitely need to have some cash on hand. And the last thing is home protection. Now, this may be controversial, and some people may have, restrictions where they live, but I highly recommend having a sidearm, having a weapon in your home, be it a rifle or a sidearm. And I recommend, it's a little late in the game now, but I recommend getting training with that weapon and going out and practice shooting, things like that. There's been proof in the past. We've had plenty of hurricanes. This happens every year. It's not like a new thing. So there has been looters that come around, and people have gotten hurt over this. Have a way to protect you and your family. At the end of the day, that is your primary goal, is to protect you and your family, no matter what. Regardless of whether that be having a weapon to protect yourself or leaving the area, there's nothing in your home more important than your life and your family's life. Those are the most important things. Make sure you're set up, you have a checklist, your family knows the checklist, your family knows the plan, you implement your plan, and someone outside of your immediate family knows what's going on, so that way, if you don't check in, then people can, they can start making phone calls and making people aware, hey, this was the plan, they haven't checked in. What's going on? Make sure you're doing that. That's right now. I'm sorry. There's one other thing that I didn't talk about is anything outside your house. If you're boarding up your windows, make sure they're boarding up. Trim your trees. Make sure there's no crazy tree branches just going to fall on your house or bust through one of your windows. Lawn equipment, grills, trash cans, all of that stuff. You need to put it away. Make sure it's put away. With these crazy high winds, it could blow in. It could blow into your house, and you never know what could happen. So you want to make sure all that's put away. So a lot of this stuff, you can find it online. You can look up, how to build a kit. You can go to FEMA. FEMA is a great resource. You can also go to the NOAA, which is National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, right? That's where we get most of our weather from. They have it on there. Also on base, they should have little hurricane or emergency preparedness checklists. There's plenty of places that you can go to find information. Please take your time and get this information. Get a list for your emergency management offices in your area, your local hospitals, utilities, the American Red Cross. Have a number for LE, right? Local law enforcement. 911 is always great. But if it's not a full-blown emergency, sometimes just calling the local office is better off. Figure out if you're in one of these danger zones and you're in an evacuation zone, right? Or if you're in a flood zone. Also with that, check your insurance. Make sure you're covered. Check your insurance. When I was in Texas, our house flooded, and they told us we were covered, and then when we actually flooded, they were like, no, not for that type. And so moving up here, we talked to insurance people like, hey, are we covered if rain comes in from outside? Yes. What if the roof blows off and it comes in from up top? Yes. What if a pipe bursts? Are we covered? Yes. Right? Make sure you're checking and you're double checking and you make sure you're covered and you have all the things on this list. There may be some things that I'm not thinking of. There may be things I've left out. So take this as a starting point, and please prepare yourself and your family, because at the end of the day, you're the only one that can do that. The Navy, the Army, the Marines, the Air Force, Coasties, whatever. There's only so much they can do for you. You have to take your family and prepare them. I hope this has been of some help. If you have any thoughts or comments, let me know. If there's something I left off, let me know. If you want to come on and talk about this, or maybe I'm crazy and I got something wrong. Cool. Let's talk about it, right? Preparedness is super important, especially when it comes to us and our families. For those of us that are deploying and we're going to be away from our families, we need to have something in line for them. So let me know your thoughts, and look forward to hearing from you, and we'll see you next time.